The other thing that's interesting to me is what you mentioned is, you and I know, because we've all spoken to people, is the finance system's been waiting for the green light. The big Web 2 companies have been waiting for a green light. There's a lot of people who've been waiting for a regulatory green light. Now, we haven't got it yet because we need regulations. But I look at the finance system, and I think one of the things you've been talking about as well is if they're going to build, there's an obvious choice for them, which is going to be Ethereum. Ethereum has the native yield, and it is the kind of IBM or Microsoft of the space. I think people are underestimating how fast finance is going to come because they've all been working on it. And it's a very likely an Ethereum ecosystem thing overall. Thoughts?
Bitcoinzilla stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoinzilla today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, Raoul Pal dives into the billion-dollar opportunities in crypto alongside Dan Tapiero, exploring institutional adoption, DeFi advancements, and macroeconomic shifts. Let's catch up with them to learn more.
My general view is I hate the conservative numbers, and I think it's always good to anchor yourselves on those, particularly when you're building a business. I think for me, the base case, the base case is kind of 250. So 150 low side, 250 normal, 450 blow off 2017 site.
By the end of 25?
Yeah.
So,
don't forget, I was 2017. Yeah. I sold out at 2000 just before that, the usual tax season where it falls in like March, April, May, June, right? I sold out 2000. It went up 10x in 4 months at the end of the year. 10x.
Yeah, but those are smaller numbers. We can't go up 10x.
No, but that's why I'm saying. Listen, it's possible to go up 3x in the last part of the cycle if we get a very strong cycle. That's all I'm saying is that I think that tail is because people have so much PTSD. I think it's underpriced. I'm not saying it's my base case,
but you know how much value will be added to the digital asset.
I think your number of 10 trillion is. Yeah, I think 10 trillion is underestimating for this cycle. I think it's close to 12, 13, something like that this cycle. Yeah. I think your whole 10T idea is going to sound hilariously outdated very soon.
It brings me right back to the beginning. The first thing we discussed, you can tell where somebody entered the space because 10T will be a joke. It wasn't when it was 300 billion in 2019. 30x, people were like, "You're nuts. There's no way." But yeah, I think 10 will be too small by far, right?
Yeah, way too. I mean, I think within 10 years, if I just follow the log regression channel of market cap, or use a Bitcoin version and impute something out of it, I get to 100 trillion by 2034. Now that makes sense because all other assets are 100, 200, 300 trillion. A lot of assets are going on to this. Going to be a lot of activity. I don't think that's wildly wrong. That kind of suggests we're only 3% there because it's 3 trillion today. It's
what was that first call you had? Did you call for Bitcoin? What was that very first one in that article?
So I said, I think it's worth $1 million. It's worth 700 ounces of gold at the time.
What year was that?
That was 2013. Okay, and I said, I'm going to discount myself by 90% because this sounds stupid to call for $1 million Bitcoin when it's 200. So I'm going to say 100 grand. So we hit my original target from 11 years ago. And I still think we'll hit the other target, which is now 700 ounces of gold is now $2 and a bit million. So I do think somewhere, and that was a bad math calculation, random numbers based on stock to flow, but it kind of feels about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right,
Yeah.
Bitcoin's price trajectory appears set for a challenging phase, with the $110,000 milestone presenting formidable resistance. Recent data from the Choppiness Index, CI, a technical metric used to gauge market trends, indicates Bitcoin is entering a period of stagnation after recent volatility. The CI's value for Bitcoin currently sits at 56.7, suggesting choppy and corrective behavior that often signals a consolidating market. This metric, which ranges from 0 to 100, distinguishes between trending markets and turbulent, range-bound conditions. Higher readings denote increased choppiness, whereas lower values indicate directional trends. The CI's current reading underscores Bitcoin's recent transition from its explosive rally to a cooling phase. Historical patterns suggest that extended consolidation often sets the stage for significant price movements. Analyst Percival from CryptoQuant notes that consolidation periods during the 2020 and 2021 bull cycles lasted approximately 20 days, similar to the time frame observed since March this year. This repetitive pattern hints that longer cooling phases may amplify the intensity of subsequent price surges. Looking forward, Bitcoin's climb toward uncharted price levels, like $110,000 and beyond, may be tempered by psychological and market-driven resistance zones. Short-term holders, STs, eye these levels for profit-taking opportunities. Particularly, the $110,000 mark aligns with a 1.5 standard deviation above realized prices, a key threshold for speculative traders. Similarly, $120,000, marked by its psychological weight and a 2 standard deviation increase, could become another critical consolidation area. While bulls anticipate explosive moves, patience may be required as Bitcoin navigates its current phase of market correction. These cooling periods, though frustrating for price discovery, often pave the way for sustainable long-term growth.
I wonder, it's interesting because we're talking about these big numbers. And of course, you've got Michael Saylor out there who's, sucked a lot of air out of the room. Rightfully so. I think he's been incredible for the space. But I haven't sort of sensed as much enthusiasm yet as in previous cycles, right? Like, I don't feel somehow, I don't know, maybe it's because some of these altcoins, et cetera, are still down 90%. If you look at some of them, not Ripple, which is now exploded, but, some of these.
Yeah, we just started to sit in the last 2 weeks where things are doing 50% in a day. That's what brings in retail. And I know from my WhatsApp messages that people are coming back. But these were, I'm only getting back last cycle people and not new cycle people yet.
Right. So we're not above where we were in 21 in terms of emotion and this and that.
No.
I mean, it's very, I mean, if you're new to this space, you might think, oh, it's crazy. It's this, it's that. It feels very tempered. People feel like, I feel like ho hum. Someone told me we have some companies where the founders have been in the companies they founded 7, 8, 9 years ago, and they are really tired.
Yeah.
And
it's a tough market to be in, right?
It's as I always say, it trades 5 times as long as the S&P per year, right? Because it's 24/7, 365. The S&P is only, 8 hours a day or whatever it is. And so every 1 year in the old world is like 5 years in our world. And if you started a business 9 years ago and you lived through, 3 bulls and 3 bears, that's like 40 years in the old world. And so we have, founders that are interested to sell their businesses, even though, you'd look at them and you'd say, well, why are you interested? This is the greatest business ever. You're kicking butt. You're making a huge amount of money. And they just say, like they started it from zero and now maybe they have $1 billion in it or whatever the number is. So I feel like the volatility in this space is really, really chews people up.
It does. Particularly, Dan, you know this because you see it. Building a business in a very volatile asset means that your cost base has to become flexible.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest part, right? The hardest part is the cyclicality of your revenues versus your cost base, which means every time you have a down cycle, you spend 18 months of firing people, and it's so that is
Or you
really
never
hard.
hire them.
Ethereum appears poised to replicate a dramatic rally similar to the one witnessed by XRP, with analysts pointing to a potential surge towards $7,600. XRP's price experienced a parabolic rise of over 390% in November after breaking out of a symmetrical triangle pattern that had formed over 6 years. This breakout propelled XRP from around $0.50 to $2.94, a level corresponding to its 1,618 Fibonacci retracement. Similarly, Ethereum has broken out of its own symmetrical triangle pattern, which has been forming for 3 years. If Ethereum follows the trajectory of XRP's explosive move, it could see a rally of nearly 90%, pushing its price toward the Fibonacci retracement level of $7,636. Ethereum's weekly relative strength index, RSI, currently at 67, supports this outlook, as it suggests there is still room for upward momentum before entering overbought territory. XRP's RSI exhibited similar behavior ahead of its mid-to-arc rise. Market analysts predict Ethereum may continue its upward trend, with projections indicating a potential price of $15,937 by May 2025. This scenario would elevate Ethereum's market capitalization beyond $1 trillion. The critical factor for this bullish narrative is maintaining support at $3,800, which would bolster confidence in retesting and surpassing its all-time high of $4,878. Adding to Ethereum's momentum are strong inflows into US-based Ethereum exchange-traded funds, ETF. These funds have amassed approximately $1.42 billion worth of Ethereum, marking a significant reversal from prior outflows. This surge in institutional interest underpins Ethereum's growing appeal, creating a robust foundation for its anticipated price rally. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.